start here in the UK on an issue that's divided the country over the last few decades. Every adult will need a new government-issued digital ID to prove they live and can work here.
Your name, your data, your digital reflection. A future where identity isn't who you are. It's what you're allowed to do. Every click, every payment, every journey captured forever in the system's memory. One ID to unlock your life, or lock it down. It isn't a theory, it isn't tomorrow, it's already being built, piece by piece in plain sight. In 2006, Britain launched a national identity register, the most ambitious citizen tracking system in its history. Fingerprints, addresses, travel data, all in one central database.
Well, firstly, this is a really exciting opportunity for the British public, who are, by the way, being undercut as workers, so we're going to deal with that. But it also makes their lives easier day to day when it comes to renting, mortgaging, setting up a bank account. But it also enables us in the Home Office and from an enforcement point of view to take on the dodgy employers who are undercutting British workers.
It was sold as protection against terror and fraud, but it came at the cost of privacy itself.
Millions have signed up to oppose digital ID cards in the UK. More than 2.4 million people have signed an online petition demanding that the UK government immediately commits to not introducing digital ID cards.
By 2010, the backlash was complete. Costs had spiralled, civil liberties groups filled the streets, and the new coalition government ordered every record destroyed. The drives were shredded on camera. A public execution of the database. Yet the idea survived. It simply went underground, waiting for better technology and a more compliant generation.
15 years later, that technology and that generation have arrived.
After the failure of physical ID cards, the dream returned. Only this time, invisible. A digital identity. No paperwork, no plastic, just a login. The government promised simplicity. Proof of who you are, anywhere, in seconds. No queues at airports, no forms for employers, no passwords to forget. A single credential to access everything, from healthcare to housing, jobs to benefits. But convenience has always been the salesman of control. When every service depends on one login, the power isn't in your hands. It's in whoever can switch that login off. What begins as convenience becomes dependency, and dependency becomes obedience.
Each scan, each click, each consent box checked. A small surrender traded for speed. Until the network knows more about you than you ever will.
Xiao Wen Wang is a model citizen. She lives in Nanjing, a testing ground for social ranking. Married with a child, she has a job in a retirement home, no debts, and she wouldn't dream of jaywalking.
As a good citizen, I respect the rules of the road. If I didn't, I'd lose points on my social credit.
When data becomes identity, it no longer just confirms who you are. It begins to judge you. The same system that verifies your right to work, to bank, to travel, can also measure how obedient you are. Every payment, every online comment, every fine or infraction quietly feeding the machine that decides your trustworthiness. A trust score, not declared publicly, but always there, shaping which doors open for you and which quietly stay shut. It's sold as protection against fraud and extremism, but fraud protection was never meant to rate opinions or loyalty. In China, they call it a social credit system. In Britain, it will just be called efficiency. Because no government ever admits to building a score. They simply build a system that makes one possible.
And when your worth can be calculated, freedom becomes conditional.
Link identity to money, and you control the person behind it. Once your digital ID connects directly to your bank account, every purchase, every payment, every transfer is visible. Not just to you, but to the state. Central bank digital currency. The phrase sounds technical, harmless, inevitable, but it means the pound itself becomes programmable. Programmable by who? By government. Taxes could be deducted the moment you're paid. Fines could vanish from your balance before you even open your banking app. Support payments or subsidies could be toggled on and off with a single database command, and compliance becomes currency. a system that rewards conformity and punishes dissent. Automatically, silently, instantly. No warrant, no courtroom, no conversation, just code. Money has always been a symbol of freedom. Digital currency turns it into permission.
Freedom doesn't disappear overnight, it's switched off, transaction by transaction.
Every generation gets a new reason for control. Yesterday it was security, today it's sustainability. Under the banner of climate responsibility, digital IDs could become the key to your personal carbon ledger. Every litre of petrol, every flight, every grocery delivery, measured, logged, assigned to you. An invisible carbon wallet that fills each time you live your life. The goal sounds noble, to save the planet, but the mechanism is the same. Tracking, scoring, permission. Once your footprint passes the limit, the system simply says no. No flights this month. No petrol beyond your allowance. No online order unless it's certified green. It isn't the planet being managed, it's the population. And the difference between a right and a privilege is only one line of code.
When freedom depends on a carbon balance, even breathing has a cost.
Power doesn't always need bars and fences. Sometimes it just needs data. When identity systems merge with surveillance, punishment becomes invisible. You don't need police when the algorithm polices you. A missed bill, a flagged comment, a low trust score, and privileges quietly fade. Access denied, account restricted, job applications disappearing into digital limbo. That's how obedience is built, not by fear of prison, but fear of disconnection. When freedom depends on keeping your score clean, you stop asking questions, you self-censor, you adapt, you comply. And nowhere proves that faster than Britain itself. The United Kingdom now records more arrests for social media posts than any nation on earth. More than China, more than Russia, more than any so-called authoritarian regime.
They've already arrested 12,000 people for social media posts.
That's insane.
Above and beyond every other country, way above Russia. Russia was like 400 last year. The UK's 12,000. Any criticism of immigration, any criticism of grooming gangs and people being raped, any talk about how horrible this is.
In a democracy that once championed free speech, words alone can now trigger handcuffs. If that's happening before digital IDs arrive, imagine the power to punish opinion once every post, payment and movement is tied to your identity.
When truth becomes a liability, honesty becomes an act of rebellion.
When everything depends on a single system, everything can fail at once.
Now, the fallout from Friday's global IT outage is still very much going on.
A global tech outage is disrupting companies around the world.
The promise of digital identity is safety and simplicity until the server goes dark. A single outage, a cyber attack, or a software bug could lock millions out of their money, their homes, their healthcare. When your identity lives on a database, losing access doesn't just mean losing your account, it means losing your place in society. We've seen it already. Data breaches leaking entire populations.
A recently filed lawsuit revealed a massive data breach, which could be one of the largest ones in history. According to the lawsuit, National Public Data, a background check website, was accessed in April of this year, and the personal information of 2.9 billion people were extracted from their database.
Power cuts halting hospital admissions. A network glitch blocking benefits and paychecks overnight. The more we centralize, the more fragile we become. And once biometric data is stolen, it's gone forever. You can change a password. You can't change your face or your fingerprint. The convenience of a single key soon becomes the danger of a single point of failure. And when that key breaks, society breaks with it.
When identity becomes infrastructure, collapse is no longer a risk, it's an inevitability.
Behind every new policy lies an old ambition. Power dressed as progress. Few names symbolize that better than former Prime Minister Tony Blair. 2 decades after leaving office, his institute now champions the return of a national digital ID system, calling it inevitable and essential for modern government.
Digital ID will make our interactions with each other and with the state faster, cheaper, and more reliable. It will allow us to judge who has a right to be in our country and who doesn't, and so solves one of the major challenges of immigration. Facial recognition can now spot suspects in real time from live video, tracking organized criminals at borders, in public spaces, even helping find missing people.
It's the same figure whose government once launched the original ID card scheme, and the same leader who later admitted he was wrong about Iraq and Saddam Hussein.
Apologize for the fact that the intelligence we received was wrong, because even though he had used chemical weapons extensively against his own people, against others, the program in the form that we thought it was did not exist in the way that we thought. So I can apologize for that.
A war that cost countless lives and shattered public trust in government truth. That legacy still hangs over every new promise of safety. Now, his message is familiar. Only the technology has changed. Critics see something else. The establishment preparing a digital framework that keeps citizens permanently authenticated, permanently observed. And the timing is convenient. The consultancy world Blair inhabits is tightly woven into tech and data contracts. The very ecosystem that stands to profit from identity infrastructure.
When the architects of old power sell new technology, it isn't innovation they're offering. It's continuity and conscious in a control reborn in a cleaner suit.
We were told identity cards would make us safer, that digital IDs would make life simpler, but every promise of safety carries a hidden price. Submission. First it was security, then sustainability. Now, efficiency. Each word a doorway to the same destination, control.
When freedom needs permission, it isn't freedom anymore. It's access, conditional, monitored, and revocable.
Technology doesn't corrupt power, it perfects it. And when control becomes invisible, resistance becomes impossible. The question isn't whether they'll build it, the question is how long before you're required to use it. Subscribe for more investigations into the scandals, money trails, and power plays shaping our world. Because only by following the money can we expose the truth.